Looking at your plate and feeling fear growing in your chest. That sensation of anxiety when you notice your hands are shaking too much to hold your fork firmly. Or perhaps it's that embarrassing moment when all eyes turn to you in the restaurant as you struggle to cut a simple piece of meat. Those living with Parkinson's know these moments well, moments that transform the simple act of eating into a daily challenge. The rigidity in facial muscles that makes even chewing food difficult. The slowness of movement that turns a simple meal into an exhausting and sometimes humiliating marathon. Have you ever wondered how many meals you've missed enjoying because of these symptoms? How many times you've preferred to stay home to avoid the embarrassment of eating in public? Or how many times you've felt your body growing weaker and more tired, despite all the medications you take daily? I understand this struggle because I've closely followed the journey of hundreds of Parkinson's patients over the past 12 years, and I can tell you something that perhaps no one has clearly explained. Your diet may be worsening your symptoms, or on the contrary, it could be your most powerful ally in controlling the disease. I'm not talking about miracle diets or empty promises, but about food choices based on solid scientific research. Research that demonstrates how certain nutrients can literally slow the progression of Parkinson's and restore part of your independence and dignity. Today I'll share with you the 8 most powerful foods that have helped my patients reduce muscle rigidity, decrease tremors, and regain energy for daily activities. Imagine being able to hold a cup of coffee without fear of spilling it, dressing yourself without help, or walking with more confidence. These small victories are possible when you understand how diet directly affects the mechanisms of the disease. And best of all, you can start implementing these changes today with simple and accessible ingredients that will transform your quality of life. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're watching this video from. Leave a comment below and feel free to share which Parkinson's symptom most affects your routine. This will help me create content even more tailored to your real needs. And if you know someone who could benefit from this information, don't hesitate to share this video. It might be exactly what that person needs to improve their quality of life. Before we continue with our next method, I want to extend a special invitation. If you or someone you love is facing the daily challenges of Parkinson's and seeking reliable science-based information explained simply, this channel was created especially for you. Here we regularly share practical strategies, exercises, and tips that have helped hundreds of people regain small and large independences in daily life. Click the subscribe button now. It's completely free, and you won't miss any techniques that could make a difference in your quality of life or that of your loved one. Now, let's understand why diet is so important in controlling Parkinson's. First, let's understand how diet directly influences Parkinson's. Among the many recent scientific discoveries, one stands out clearly. Chronic inflammation and oxidative stress are factors that accelerate the degradation of dopaminergic neurons in the substantia nigra of the brain. These are precisely the cells that die in Parkinson's disease. But how exactly can diet help protect these cells? Let's explore together. When we consume foods rich in antioxidants, we're essentially providing our body with a protective shield against free radicals that damage brain cells. These compounds act like little firefighters, putting out molecular fires before they spread and cause more neuronal destruction. Recent studies from Harvard University show that people with a diet rich in specific antioxidants have up to 33% less chance of rapid Parkinson's progression. This is significant, especially when we consider that these effects complement medication treatment. They don't replace medications, but enhance their effects. But which are the best antioxidants for people with Parkinson's? Specifically, those that can cross the blood-brain barrier and reach the brain cells, where we really need protection. This is exactly what our 8 powerful foods do, with proven efficiency. Before moving on to the next topic, I want to open a space for something extremely valuable: your own experience. Have you discovered any technique, small trick, or adaptation that has helped you better deal with Parkinson's in your daily life? You know, that simple solution you found and thought, why didn't anyone tell me this before? Sometimes the best strategies come from those who live the reality of the disease every day, not from books or clinical studies. Share with us in the comments. You can simply copy and complete the phrase, "One thing I discovered that helped me a lot was..." Your contribution may seem small to you, but it could be exactly what someone else has been looking for months or years. I've seen people transform their lives after learning tips from other members of our community in the comments. And that's more powerful than any advice I can give alone. Let's make this space a true bank of collective wisdom, where everyone learns and grows together. Now let's move on to the first food that can revolutionize Parkinson's control. The first powerful food is berries, especially blueberries. Among the many foods that contain antioxidants, berries stand out as absolute champions in neuroprotective potency. But how exactly do berries help people with Parkinson's? Let's explore together. A study conducted by Harvard University and published in the journal Neurology followed more than 130,000 people for 20 years and discovered something surprising. Those who consumed at least 3 servings of berries per week had a 40% lower risk of developing Parkinson's. This is because these fruits contain flavonoids, especially anthocyanins, which give blueberries their blue-purple color. These compounds can cross the barrier that protects the brain and act directly in protecting dopaminergic neurons, which are precisely the cells affected by the disease. But the benefits go beyond prevention. Another study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry showed that people with Parkinson's who consumed blueberry juice daily for 12 weeks showed significant improvement in memory tests and cognitive function, plus a reduction in tremors by up to 25%. In my practice, I've observed that patients who include at least 1 daily serving of berries such as blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, or cherries report improvement in morning stiffness and greater ease in initiating movements. The tip is to consume these fruits fresh, frozen, or even as freeze-dried powder, which maintains a large part of the antioxidants. And to enhance the effect, try consuming berries at breakfast, along with your first dose of Parkinson's medication. This can improve the absorption and effect of levodopa. The second food that has shown impressive results is fish rich in omega-3. Among the many protein options we can choose from, fish, especially those from cold, deep waters like salmon, sardines, and tuna, stands out as a true treasure for the brain of someone with Parkinson's. But how exactly does omega-3 help control symptoms? Let's explore together. Fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids provide docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, a type of fat that makes up about 25% of the brain's fat content and is essential for neuronal communication. These fatty acids have potent anti-inflammatory properties and help reduce neuroinflammation, one of the mechanisms involved in the progression of Parkinson's. Additionally, omega-3s improve the fluidity of neuronal membranes, facilitating communication between brain cells, which can result in better motor coordination. A groundbreaking study by Rush University Medical Center published in Neurology showed that people who regularly consumed omega-3 rich fish showed 40% slower cognitive decline compared to those who rarely ate fish. In my practice, I've observed that patients who include fatty fish at least twice a week in their diet report less joint stiffness and improved mood, 2 common symptoms in Parkinson's. The tip is to prioritize wild-caught fish, which generally contain higher levels of omega-3 compared to farm-raised fish. Aim to consume a 4-ounce portion at least twice a week. If you're vegetarian or don't like fish, consider plant sources of omega-3 like flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts. Although these contain a different type of omega-3, ALA, that requires conversion in the body to the active forms, EPA and DHA. In these cases, it might be worth discussing supplementation with your doctor. Turmeric combined with black pepper is the third food with powerful effects against Parkinson's. Among the many spices used in American cooking, turmeric stands out for its significant medicinal properties, especially for neurological conditions. But how exactly can this yellow spice help control Parkinson's symptoms? Let's explore together. Turmeric contains curcumin, a compound with powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. What makes curcumin special is its ability to cross the blood-brain barrier, meaning it can directly reach the brain tissue where it's most needed. Research from MGH, Massachusetts General Hospital, has shown that curcumin can inhibit the aggregation of alpha-synuclein, the protein that forms toxic clumps in the brains of people with Parkinson's. The challenge with curcumin is its low bioavailability. Our body has difficulty absorbing it effectively. That's where black pepper comes in. Piperine, the compound that gives black pepper its spicy taste, can increase curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. This powerful combination creates a synergistic effect that enhances the neuroprotective benefits. In my practice, I've observed that patients who incorporate turmeric with black pepper into their daily diet report less joint pain and greater mobility after a few weeks. Some even notice a reduction in the off periods when their medication isn't working effectively. The tip is to add a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder along with a pinch of black pepper to your meals daily. Another excellent option is to prepare golden milk. Warm up a cup of almond milk with half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a pinch of black pepper, and if desired, a little cinnamon and honey. This combination, consumed before bed, can also help improve sleep quality, a common challenge for people with Parkinson's. The fourth food that has been showing great results is extra virgin olive oil. Among the many cooking oils available, extra virgin olive oil stands out as a true superfood for brain health, especially for those with Parkinson's. But how exactly does this Mediterranean treasure help control symptoms? Let's explore together. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in polyphenols, especially oleocanthal, a compound with anti-inflammatory effects similar to ibuprofen, but without the side effects. Research published by the Mayo Clinic shows that oleocanthal helps remove abnormal proteins from the brain, including alpha-synuclein aggregates that are characteristic of Parkinson's. Additionally, olive oil is rich in antioxidants that combat oxidative stress, one of the mechanisms behind neuronal death in Parkinson's. The monounsaturated fats in olive oil also contribute to better cardiovascular health, ensuring adequate blood flow to the brain, which is essential for cognitive function. In my practice, I've observed that patients who replace other cooking oils with extra virgin olive oil and consume it daily report less joint stiffness and better overall mobility. Some even notice improvement in their tremors after a few weeks of consistent use. The tip is to consume 2 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily. Always choose cold-pressed, unfiltered olive oil in dark glass bottles, as this preserves more of the beneficial compounds. Use it unheated on salads and vegetables or at low temperatures for gentle cooking. Avoid frying at high temperatures, as this destroys many of the beneficial compounds. A small bottle of high-quality olive oil might be more expensive, but the health benefits far outweigh the cost. The fifth powerful food for controlling Parkinson's is nuts and seeds. Among the many snack options, nuts and seeds stand out as compact powerhouses of nutrition for brain health. But how exactly can these foods help control Parkinson's symptoms? Let's explore together. Nuts, especially walnuts, almonds, and Brazil nuts, along with seeds like flax seeds, chia, and pumpkin seeds, contain a perfect combination of brain-essential nutrients. They're rich in vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects neurons from oxidative damage. A landmark study from the NIH, National Institutes of Health, showed that people with higher vitamin E intake had a 32% lower risk of developing Parkinson's. Additionally, these foods provide essential minerals like selenium, abundant in Brazil nuts, and magnesium, which helps reduce muscle tension and tremors. The healthy fats in nuts and seeds, including omega-3 from walnuts and flax seeds, support the integrity of neuronal membranes, facilitating communication between brain cells. In my practice, I've observed that patients who include a small daily portion of nuts and seeds report improved mood and less anxiety, common non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's. Some even notice a reduction in tremor intensity, especially on days when they consume these foods. The tip is to eat a handful, about 1 ounce, of mixed nuts and seeds daily. You can prepare your own mix with walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, flax seeds, chia, and pumpkin seeds. Since flax seeds need to be ground to release their nutrients, consider using a coffee grinder to prepare a weekly batch, storing it in the refrigerator. Remember that although nuts and seeds are healthy, they're also calorie-dense, so portion control is important. The sixth food that has been showing impressive results is dark leafy greens. Among the many vegetables available, dark leafy greens stand out as true nutritional powerhouses, especially for those with Parkinson's. But how exactly do these vegetables help control symptoms? Let's explore together. Dark leafy greens like spinach, kale, arugula, and Swiss chard are exceptionally rich in folate, a B vitamin that helps reduce homocysteine levels in the blood. Elevated homocysteine has been linked to faster cognitive decline in Parkinson's patients. These greens are also packed with vitamins A, C, and K, as well as minerals like iron and calcium. What makes these vegetables particularly valuable for Parkinson's patients is their high content of natural nitrates, which the body converts to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide helps improve blood flow to the brain and can enhance the communication between neurons. A study from Mayo Clinic demonstrated that patients with higher consumption of leafy greens showed better cognitive performance and motor control compared to those who rarely consumed these vegetables. In my practice, I've observed that patients who include at least one large serving of dark leafy greens daily report more energy and better medication response. Some even notice a reduction in the wearing-off effect between medication doses. The tip is to include at least 2 cups of dark leafy greens in your diet daily. You can add them to salads, smoothies, soups, or lightly sauté them with garlic and olive oil. To preserve their nutrient content, cook them minimally or consume them raw when possible. If you're taking blood thinners, consult your doctor about the appropriate amount of vitamin K-rich greens in your diet. The 7th food group that has been showing transformative results is fermented foods. Among the many dietary approaches to managing Parkinson's, supporting gut health stands out as increasingly important, and fermented foods are at the forefront of this strategy. But how exactly do foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kombucha help control Parkinson's symptoms? Let's explore together. Emerging research from Johns Hopkins University and other leading institutions is revealing a fascinating connection between gut health and Parkinson's disease. Scientists have discovered that changes in gut bacteria may occur years before motor symptoms appear, and these microbial imbalances could be contributing to the progression of the disease. This has led to the concept of the gut-brain axis in Parkinson's. Fermented foods are rich in probiotics, live bacteria that help restore the balance of gut flora, improving nutrient absorption and reducing systemic inflammation. Additionally, these foods aid in the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin and even dopamine, which is deficient in Parkinson's. Constipation is a problem that affects up to 80% of Parkinson's patients and often precedes motor symptoms by years. The probiotics present in fermented foods help improve intestinal motility, reducing this uncomfortable symptom. I've observed that patients who incorporate at least 1 daily serving of fermented foods into their diet report significant improvement in digestion and medication absorption, which translates to better control of motor symptoms. The tip is to include small portions of these foods daily, varying between the different options available. Start with a tablespoon of kefir or plain yogurt and gradually increase, giving your body time to adapt to the new microorganisms. You can also make your own kefir or kombucha at home, ensuring a constant supply of high-quality probiotics. Finally, the 8th food that has shown significant results is green tea. Among the many beverages available, green tea stands out as a true magical potion for the brain of someone with Parkinson's. But how exactly does this ancient beverage help control symptoms? Let's explore together. Green tea contains polyphenols, especially a substance called EGCG, epigallocatechin gallate, which has shown potent neuroprotective effects in scientific studies. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry showed that EGCG can prevent the death of dopaminergic neurons and even stimulate their regeneration. Additionally, green tea contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes relaxation without drowsiness and improves concentration, which can be particularly beneficial for those suffering from anxiety and cognitive problems associated with Parkinson's. The caffeine present in moderate amounts in green tea has also shown protective effects against Parkinson's. Several epidemiological studies indicate that people who regularly consume caffeine have a reduced risk of developing the disease. I've observed that patients who drink 3 to 4 cups of green tea daily report more energy and better concentration ability, as well as less intense tremors. The tip is to prepare the tea correctly to extract the maximum beneficial compounds. Use water around 175 degrees Celsius, not boiling, and let the tea steep for 3 to 5 minutes. Avoid adding milk, as the proteins can bind to the polyphenols, reducing their absorption. You can consume the tea hot or cold throughout the day, but preferably between medications and not with them to avoid any interference with absorption. Before presenting our next technique, I want to pause to celebrate something that rarely receives the attention it deserves: your small victories in the journey with Parkinson's. Do you remember the last time you managed to accomplish something that seemed impossible? Even if it's something apparently simple for others, like buttoning a shirt without help, walking completely around the block, or simply having a day with fewer tremors. These achievements need to be recognized and celebrated, as they represent your strength and persistence in the face of an immense challenge. Share your victory in the comments, no matter how small it may seem. You can copy and complete this phrase. My recent small victory was when by sharing your achievement, you not only document your own progress, but also light a flame of hope in someone who may be at the beginning of this journey, needing to believe that small advances are possible. Your stories form a mosaic of hope that sustains our community on difficult days. Now let's talk about how to combine these foods practically in your daily life.
How to practically implement these foods in your daily life. Among the many questions that arise when we talk about changing eating habits, the most common is how to incorporate all these foods into the daily routine without it becoming a stressful task. Let's explore together. The key to success is simplicity and consistency. It's not necessary to consume all these foods every day, but rather to incorporate them regularly throughout the week.
Here's a simple plan that has worked for my patients. Breakfast. Include fresh or frozen berries with plain yogurt or kefir. Add a teaspoon of chia or ground flaxseed and have a cup of green tea. Morning snack. A small handful of nuts or seeds, about 1 ounce. Lunch. Start with a salad of green leaves like arugula, spinach, or kale. Include a portion of good quality protein, preferring fatty fish twice a week. Use extra virgin olive oil for seasoning.
Afternoon snack, a fruit of your choice or a small glass of kombucha.
Dinner.
Soups or stir-fries with green vegetables. Include turmeric in your preparations whenever possible. Avoid heavy proteins at night to improve sleep quality. Before bed, a cup of golden milk prepared with turmeric, olive oil, and black pepper. This combination provides a potent anti-inflammatory effect and helps improve sleep. Remember that consistency is more important than perfection. Start implementing 1 or 2 of these foods per week and gradually increase as they become a natural part of your routine. For people with Parkinson's seeking to improve their quality of life through diet, these 8 foods, berries, omega-3 rich fish, turmeric, extra virgin olive oil, nuts and seeds, dark leafy greens, fermented foods, and green tea, offer a natural and scientifically grounded approach to complement conventional treatment. Although no food can cure Parkinson's, the combination of these neuroprotective nutrients can slow the progression of the disease, reduce brain inflammation, and significantly improve symptom control. The magic happens in the consistency and intelligent combination of these foods in a complete dietary strategy. You've probably noticed how difficult it is to find specific information about how to deal with Parkinson's on a daily basis. That's why our channel exists, to be that place where you find clear answers, without complicated medical terminology and without false promises. By subscribing to the Beyond Parkinson channel, you join thousands of people who, like you, seek to live better despite Parkinson's. Besides weekly videos with practical tips, our community in the comments shares experiences and offers support. We've been receiving touching messages from subscribers who managed to return to activities they had abandoned using our techniques, from walking in the park to playing with grandchildren. We're not promising miracles, but rather small daily victories that, added up, transform quality of life. If this makes sense to you, click now on the subscribe button. It's free and could be the first step to discovering new possibilities for your well-being. Remember, knowledge is a powerful tool, and we want to share that with you every week.